Hey everyone, this is Kyle Jones with Placer County Code Enforcement. We are here today to go over fire life safety inspections. We will be doing this video to cover the 3 different categories of a fire life safety inspection that we're looking for, all of which would be the exterior of the property, the interior, as well as the back deck area. Of course, for a typical inspection, this would be done through a Teams meeting. However, today, just for the purpose of this video, we'll be doing it in person. And we're going to start with the exterior of the property. Okay, folks, we're going to be starting at the property's address, as you can see. For an address, it needs to meet a minimum size requirement, which would be minimum 4 inches tall, a 1/2 inch width, as well as be contrasting in colors, as you can see here. For a single family residence like this property, the address needs to be displayed in a way that it's visible to the roadway. So an emergency vehicle driving by or any vehicle could see the address from any angle that they're approaching. So for properties that have on-site trash receptacles, such as this bear bin, this is where we'll navigate to next. We will want to make sure that the bear bin is functioning properly, it's able to lock and keep out the bears. For a bear bin such as this, we would expect to find the exterior posting information that's required of all STRs, which would be the STR permit number, as well as the STR complaint hotline telephone number. So the next part of the inspection, you can see we moved into the interior of the property. We are at the most typically used entrance to the property. What we want to see here is a good neighbor flyer that's properly filled out with the local contacts information. That flyer needs to be within 10 feet of the entrance with a clear line of sight from the door so that a guest can see that and grab that information as they need it. We can also see from here that we have a smoke detector. Now there's a smoke detector that is required on every level of the property. The smoke detector needs to be for this type of ceiling where it's a flat ceiling, flat conventional ceiling. It needs to be either on the ceiling or within 1 foot. So the next thing that we're looking for on every level of the property is a compliant fire extinguisher. Now, the fire extinguisher needs to be at minimum a 3A 40BC classified extinguisher. It needs to be mounted, such as this was mounted on the wall here, and it needs to be mounted in a clear, visible location. Kind of a rule of thumb for the mounting location is that it's not locked behind any doors. So that's not behind a cabinet door, a closet, pantry, whatever it may be. It needs to be in a main area that's clearly visible. Additionally, we need to see that attached is the receipt showing that it's either been purchased within 1 year or it has a tag from a certified inspection company tied to it. In addition to a fire extinguisher being required on every level of the STR, I want to draw attention to the fire extinguishers on the level a kitchen is located. Now for these extinguishers, they need to be within 10 feet of the kitchen, and when in the kitchen, there needs to be a clear line of sight to that extinguisher. So we are in the bedroom, and with any bedroom or sleeping area at a short-term rental property, we are going to want to check for a couple of things. So the room must meet a minimum size requirement of 70 square feet, have a working smoke detector present, have a compliant escape and rescue opening, such as a window or door, and include a completed copy of the Good Neighbor flyer at or near the back of the bedroom door. Now, the emergency escape and rescue opening is specifically applied to sleeping rooms because it is designed to allow to help people get out of a building and ensure emergency rescue can get in. Depending on the year of the property, a compliant escape and rescue window may vary, yet is typically around 44 inches from the floor to the clear of the window with a minimum height of 24 inches and a minimum width of 20 inches. Ground floor levels should be at least 5 square feet total of net clear opening size, while higher floors must be at minimum 5.7 square feet. Please note that the minimum height and width would not reach the minimum total net opening size. So if either of the height or width is at the minimum size allowed, the other will need to be adjusted in order to be compliant. There are many aspects involved with compliant escape and rescue openings, and if it's clear at the time of inspection that a sleeping area may not meet the minimum requirement for this, your inspector will need to investigate this further. It is recommended to have a tape measure or something similar available during your inspection to help determine this more easily if necessary. At minimum, one carbon monoxide alarm is required to be on each level of the STR. For any level of the property that contains a bedroom, a carbon monoxide alarm is required to be installed outside each bedroom. Now, the maximum distance from the entrance of a bedroom to the carbon monoxide alarm shall be no more than 10 feet total. Multiple rooms on one level may share an alarm outside of the room's entrances, so long the distance between each room's entrance to the alarm is within 10 feet. Additionally, for any bedrooms that contain fuel-burning appliances, a carbon monoxide alarm must be installed inside that room and be at no more than 10 feet away from the fuel-burning appliance. Okay, so now we are going to take a look at decks or patio areas. So gas grills that are 10 feet or further from a flammable structure or material are allowed without any additional requirements. This is not to be confused with wood pellet or charcoal grills, as these are not allowed no matter the distance to a flammable object. An example of a flammable structure would be a wood or composite deck, for instance. If an allowed gas grill is within 10 feet of a flammable structure or material, the grill may still be allowed if it includes additional fire protections. Additional fire protection would be at least one of the options. A grill mat with a fire rating of 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit or more, a welding blanket, or an automotive or metal drip tray. The additional fire protection used must meet at minimum the length and width of the grilling surface and be placed underneath the grill. If the grill is next to railing that extends above the surface of the grilling area or next to some other solid surface or structure, one of the additional fire protection options must also be added to cover this area as well. If a grill mat is to be used for additional fire protection, evidence must be shown to the inspector during the inspection showing that the grill mat is at minimum rated 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit or more. These details can be shown using the product's packaging, item details, or any other method that properly shows the item in use meets the minimum standard. If the property is utilizing one of the additional fire protections to be compliant, as it is within 10 feet of a flammable structure or material, the inspector will still require the grill be moved as far away from a home or other flammable structure as can be accommodated. As for fire pits or other outdoor fire equipment, contrary to long-term properties, short-term rental properties are not allowed to have any outdoor wood-burning fireplaces at the property at all, at any time of the year. If a gas fire pit is 10 feet away from any flammable structure or material, it is allowed without any additional requirements. If the STR has a gas fire pit that is within 10 feet of a flammable structure or material, it may still be allowed. The specific fire pit manufacturer specifications must be provided during inspection that shows the pit is being operated in a way recommended by the manufacturing company. This information is typically found in an owner's manual or the manufacturer's website. This must be provided to the inspector by the STR operator themselves during the inspection. If the gas fire pit is shown to be operating as instructed, the fire pit will be allowed for STR guest use. For all allowed outdoor fire equipment, such as grills or fire pits, anything that is found to be within 10 feet above the grilling surface or at the tip of an open flame, this equipment will not be allowed at all and must be moved, or it will need to be removed entirely if unable to be moved to a compliant area. Now, each STR must have a working landline or VoIP phone. VoIP, which stands for Voice over Internet Protocol, is similar to a landline telephone. However, it is plugged into an internet router rather than through a landline port typically installed on a wall of the home. Either landline or VoIP at the property works. This is not to be confused with a mobile or cell phone that has internet, nor is having Wi-Fi at the property alone by itself sufficient. The STR must physically have a home phone specific to the property that can make and receive calls. If we can verify through hearing a clear working dial tone, this will be sufficient. If we are unable to hear a dial tone through the Teams meeting, we will want to call the phone to confirm compliance. Please ensure you have the phone's number available to provide to your inspector. Now, if the property's active phone service stops working, such as the internet going out due to bad weather conditions, which is a real possibility here in Tahoe, we can be provided documentation, such as a service agreement or something showing the active phone service and the property's address. This will be sufficient. This method for confirming compliance is only used as a last resort, and bearing there is no confirmable outage, we will require to hear the dial tone or call the phone to check for proper compliance. Lastly, if any portions of the fire life safety inspection are failed, you will have an opportunity to fix that as long as it's done on the same day of the inspection. If not done on the same day, you will be required to sign up for a reinspection. If you do have any other questions, feel free to reach out to the Placer County Code Enforcement team or visit our website. Thank you for joining.